I'm Dana and welcome to another video in the 12 Days About Christmas series, where I'm doing 12 videos for the 12 days of Christmas talking about Christmas from an autistic perspective. I've filmed many a time and said autistic from a Christmas perspective. I keep fucking it up, which makes it the perfect time to talk about how I fuck up Christmas. There's just a lot of things I don't get, I don't understand the point of, and people seem kind of offended when I don't follow their little social norms. So I wanted to just talk about the things I don't get about Christmas and see if you guys get them, if someone can provide me with answers and what the fuck's going on. I'm not going to do a giant long intro, we're going to leave it there and get straight into it. So first up is having to pretend that presents don't matter. Why? I'm sorry, but we all know that the main thing for Christmas is the presents. Like, we all give off, like, I don't know if it's just my family, lots and lots of things I talk about could just be the perspective of me from my family, honestly. Whoops. Everyone kind of gives people the cheapest presents they can. Like, they don't want to put too much thought or effort into it, and they kind of half-arse it. And in return, the person they're gifting a present to also half-arses it to them. And then they both pretend it's, like, the best, most brilliant present ever. Like, thank you so much, Doreen. This is so lovely. I'm so happy you got me this Bath and Works body set that has a body lotion and a shower gel. I'm really going to use and enjoy this, Doreen. And they both hate it, and they both kind of know that the other person hates it because they've gotten each other similar things and they hate it. And it would be much easier and honestly probably fucking nicer on all regards and leave people feeling better if just no one bought anyone presents that's doing that, you know? But we can't, because the presents are really important for some reason. But we all also have to pretend like we don't care that much about it. And it'd be fine if you hadn't bought a gift. You don't need to. And it's like, yeah, but you're going to be pissy at me if I don't. Like, that's been a big one for me, because I don't particularly like buying presents for people that I don't, know very well and really care about, because I don't know what the fuck to buy you. And that doesn't mean that I have to be, like, super close to someone, but it does mean that, like, when I was buying presents for my brothers, I really struggled, because I was like, I don't give a shit. So I'm very, like, what do you want? You need to tell me what you want, okay? And the amount of times people have told me, oh, you don't need to get me anything. And I've been like, oh, that's a relief. And then it gets to the day and they've bought me something, and suddenly I'm the absolute world's worst person because I didn't buy them a present, even though they told me that I didn't need to. And, from them telling me that, I assumed that they wouldn't be getting me one. But I think the assumption is that they think I will care so much about a present that they have to get me a present. And I should, like, inherently know from being a person that they care a lot about this present, and I just don't fucking get it. Like, I don't get how they're both so important to people, and yet we're meant to, like, pretend it doesn't matter at all. Like, pick one. Either they don't matter or they do. I'd be fine if it was one or the other, but it's this weird amalgamation of that's not a fucking word, but it's this weird combination of the two, and I don't like it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I've had so many times that it's definitely made me look like an absolute cunt. Cards with barely anything written in them. What is the fucking point? To Dana, Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year from such and such. Okay? Didn't really need to, like, chop down a tree to tell me this, did you, Samantha? I haven't known anyone called Samantha since I was, like, in primary school. But you get what I mean. Personally, I get cards for the people that I am very, very close to. And I will be like, dear such and such, I'm so glad for the year that we've spent together. Like, I really go into it. I'm like, I'm proud of what you've accomplished. I'm really glad we got to spend this year together. I'm looking forward to celebrating the festivities with you. Like, I go in. I write a Christmas card. I say that, I've never actually done it for any of my family members from what I can recall. I think I might have done for my dad when I was quite young, but definitely haven't done it for my family in recent years. But, like, when it's people I care about, I go all out. It's a lengthy card. I want them to know, like, I really care. I've really enjoyed this year, and I don't often feel like I know when it's the right time to, like, tell someone these things. So it's much easier for me to write them in a card. And it's kind of humiliating to exchange envelopes with someone knowing full well you've, like, bared your heart on your sleeve and told them everything, to open your card and have it be like, oh, have a happy Christmas, love you. You've got this big card and all this space, and it's the end of the year, and you're supposed to like me. Write me something. I really just, I don't get why people, I mean, I guess I do, because I didn't do it for my family because I didn't like them. I don't think I'm very liked, is what we're getting at. Which brings us to pretending to spend time with family, even though everyone complains once they've left. This is the one that I like ultimately really don't understand, and the one that I feel like is a more universal experience, because I've seen it in movies and stuff, you know, when Grandpa Joe's there and everyone's like, oh, we do love Grandpa Joe with his Guinness and his racism. Isn't it great that Grandpa Joe's here? Oh, he's gone. God, what the fuck was Grandpa Joe talking about? What the fuck was that? He's such a prick, isn't he? Those situations I don't get. Don't invite the fuck. Tell him to go. Don't tell him when it's happening. Don't give him a time. Don't invite him. Why are we... I mean... Or better yet, and what I've done many a time at different events, tell them. We had a family friend that sent me a really nasty racist message on Facebook at one point, and when I next saw him, it was at someone's 21st birthday party, and he came up to me with his little gaggle of friends and was like, oh, you don't like me very much, do you? And I was like, no, I don't. And he was like, oh, why not? And I was like, because you're a racist twat. Tell them. I'll give that everyone's situation's different, and maybe you don't want to cause a huge falling out with your family and cut them off like some of us have. But also, I experienced it with my own family where, like, a certain family member would come around, and when they left, everyone would be like, oh my God, they're too loud, they're too this, they're too that, it's too this, it's too that. And I'd just be sat there like, why did you invite them? Like, that's how I feel about most people most of the time, to be honest, especially my own family. They're too much, they're too loud, I don't like it. But especially when it comes to, like, the whole family saying, like, it's too much, it's too loud, it's overwhelming, stop inviting them. Another one that I'm pretty sure is an individual to my family is going to church. My dad was a stout atheist. He would have an argument with anyone about any fucking part of the Bible. Like, he really hated God. Like, the concept of God. Like, he was kind of an asshole atheist, actually, looking back. My mum didn't make a deal out of it, but she wasn't religious to my knowledge at any point. I wasn't raised religious. My brothers weren't raised religious. My brothers were baptised or christened or something. I never have been. I haven't had any, I've still got all of my original sin, guys. So, like, my mum obviously isn't particularly religious, and yet we had several Christmases, admittedly not while I was very young. It was definitely, like, it was mostly when we were living in Denmark, so I don't know if it was maybe to try and, like, blend into the culture. But we did it a couple of times in the UK too, where we just went to fucking church on, like, Christmas Eve or Boxing Day. And why? Right, this is gonna offend Christians, and I'm kind of sorry, but kind of not, because it's my opinion. But God has to forgive you. It's kind of his deal, like, assuming God's real, his whole thing is that if you're sorry, if you're repentant, if you apologise and didn't mean to be an asshole, God forgives you. So there's no need to go to church. And also, if going to church made it more likely to get into heaven, I think it's something we should probably be doing all the time, and not just on Christmas Eve or Boxing Day. Like, I do try to not be as much of an arsehole atheist as my dad was. If you go to church every week, or, like, every time you can manage it, if you're a regular church attendee, I've got no shade for you. Fucking good for you. You work on your relationship with God, build that shit up. I don't know what's fucking real. Maybe he is. But when you never go to church, when you do not pray, when you don't have any sort of, like, godly general life, why the fuck are we going to church? Especially in the middle of winter. Like, I don't know where y'all live. Maybe you live somewhere with, like, those fancy mega churches. I live somewhere that has horrible little brick churches with drafts running right through them. It's fucking freezing. It's the middle of December. We don't believe in God anyway. Why are we in a church? The answer is most likely that it's a tradition, which brings us to my next one, which is doing the wasteful traditions, just repeatedly doing wasteful traditions. And what I mean by this, again, it might be, like, kind of exclusive to my family, but every single Christmas we had bowls of nuts around the house, just bowls of, like, whole ass, like, walnuts in a shell, like, just I don't even know what a lot of them are. Hazelnuts, walnuts, Brazil nuts. I don't fucking know. We just had all of these bowls of nuts with a little fucking nutcracker, as though people are gonna be like hanging out and be like, oh yeah, I'm really craving. I'm really craving a walnut, and they're gonna like crack it open and like eat it like a little squirrel and be like, oh my walnut. Like what the, why? But every single year we put these fucking nuts out. And I did it myself when I first moved out. I bought fucking nuts. I spent like $3.99 on a bag of nuts in Asda. I ate like 4 of them. And they weren't impressive. They're not roasted. They're not salted. It's just a plain organic fucking nut that I have to put effort and work. I'm spitting now. But I've had to put actual effort and work into getting this fucking walnut. And it's not even fucking good. Why? Wrapping paper. I've used brown wrapping paper for most Christmases. I've ruined my own morals and gotten green wrapping paper because my girlfriend likes green. I destroy my morals for my girlfriend on a regular basis apparently. But for my family, for my friends, for people in the past, I've always used brown wrapping paper, and I like put some washi tape on, I'll draw on it, I'll make it fun. But it's brown recyclable paper. And people have asked me why, and I'm like, because it's recyclable. Wrapping paper isn't recyclable because it's like coated in plastic and shit. Like I already think it's kind of wasteful that we're going to be doing it with paper anyway. I don't really get why I can't just give you the fucking present. I like when people wrap it up in scarves and shit, but I'm not buying like 40 fucking scarves to wrap everyone's presents. Brown paper it is. Wrapping paper is just so wasteful. The nuts go in the bin at the end of the fucking season. It's so wasteful. Christmas pyjamas, Christmas jumpers, Christmas most fucking things. You're gonna bin it at the end of the like season. Like not even at the end of the, I mean technically it is the end of the year, but it's not like you've had it all year. Like I know people like to pretend they keep all their Christmas decorations, but I don't know many people that actually do. And especially when it comes to Christmas clothing, like y'all are buying new Christmas socks and pyjamas every year. So it seems like you're probably getting rid of them, you know? Otherwise you'd have a lot of Christmas pyjamas and socks at this point. I don't mind so much for Christmas jumpers because I own Christmas jumpers and I save them and wear them the next year, so I feel like people probably do reuse them. I hope they do. But I just feel like there's a lot of Christmas traditions that just create a load of waste, and I don't get it at all. Mostly the nuts though. Like I know they're gonna biodegrade because we've just thrown them away and they're nuts. But also like they could have been used for something, they could have been eaten by someone or something, and we've just binned them because we've had them sat on bowls around the house for the last 6 weeks. Similarly, because I've already mentioned how they're fucking boring, the nuts that is, eating and drinking things that you don't like. I don't get it. I don't understand. Oh, you always have to have a bit of Christmas pudding, don't you? No, I don't like it. I won't, nor do I, but you've always got to have a bit. No, I haven't. I don't like it. I don't understand why you're eating it if you don't like it. Mince pies, Christmas pudding, Christmas cake. Hey, baby man. Sprouts, nuts. Like it seems like it's kind of just the done thing is to just consume this food and drink that you don't actually enjoy because it's Christmas, and doesn't it give you that Christmas feeling? No, because I've never forced myself to eat this shitty Christmas pudding, so when if I were to taste it, it wouldn't give me any Christmassy feelings because I haven't tasted it any other Christmas. I'm not missing out. You force yourself into something you don't actually want to be a part of. And that's all very well and good until they force it on me. I'm not eating your fucking sprout, Mom. Like, this is the first year I'm going to not be spending with my mother. And every other year she has forced me to eat one sprout. She puts one single sprout on my fucking plate and she won't let me eat the rest of my dinner until I eat it. Like 24 years old and she had me a fucking sprout. I'm never eating a sprout again. I'm not talking to my mother, and I'm never eating a fucking sprout again. I hate them, and I don't see why we should eat unpleasant things because it's Christmassy or because someone else cooked it. Personally, if I've cooked someone something and they don't fucking like it, I'd rather they told me so I can make something else a bit quick and not have to eat something they don't like. And finally, I don't like that people are nicer to each other. It puts me off. It feels two-faced. I don't enjoy it. God, I don't know how to phrase this, so bear with me a little. I rarely don't have good intentions, and I put way too much pressure on myself, according to my therapist, to be a good person and be like what I think is a good person and do what I think is like good deeds. And it pisses me off that I put effort into that all year round, 24/7. And then these fuckers pop up and they're like, oh, it's December 15th, better start being nice to people for 10 days. And it's like, so you can. Especially my brothers, it's like, so you can be nice, you can be civil, you can be interesting, you can try to engage me in conversation that we'll all enjoy, you can create like a nice environment around you, you can make being around you be a nice time. You just only bother for these few days. Nice. It frustrates me, it annoys me. It makes me want to be an asshole to them, because I'm like, you're not being nice. Like, you're faking it, you're pretending to. This isn't how you feel, this isn't how you want to behave. If you did want to behave like this, if this was how you felt, you'd do it all the fucking time like I did. And it would be exhausting like it is for me. But you just do it for this little tiny period of time and seem to think that makes up for the rest of the year where you're an asshole. Like, I can't tell you how many times before this year I got to the brink of like almost going no contact with my brother, and he'd pull it out by getting me a really good Christmas present. You know, and he'd create a really nice environment. I'd go around, it'd be, oh, do you want a drink? We've got some rum. Oh, I'll pour you a drink. Oh, here's a smoke I've free-rolled for you. Here you go. Here's your smoke. Here's your drink. Go outside. Have a good time. And it's like, I don't expect to be waited on every time I arrive at the house. But if you can go this far, if you can really actually offer 100%, could you not just offer me like 30 all the time? It just bothers and frustrates me. I don't like it. And these are things I don't get about Christmas. I'd love to hear in the comments if there's anything you don't get, if there's traditions you don't follow, the things that you don't like. Have a whinge, have a moan, have a right good moan, essentially, is what this is for. We can all just whinge and moan and complain together. But that's all I have to whinge, moan and complain about today. So I'm gonna go, but I'll be back tomorrow, as you're probably getting used to over this 12 days. Not doing this again, it's quite a lot of work. But whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you're having a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year. I'll see you again tomorrow.